We're here at TEDxBeaconStreet, and I'm sitting down with Scott Kirsner, Boston Globe columnist, uncovering the booming Boston tech industry. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with us.
Thanks for having me, Teddy.
Yeah. So tell me quick, just a little bit about your talk.
Well, I was talking about Boston's identity as an R&D lab to the world and sort of saying, our history and heritage is solving really hard problems. That's what we're going to keep doing in the 21st century, and we need to do a better job communicating that to people around the world.
Yeah, and I think it's a great place to do it. Not only are we in Brookline, Mass, right outside of Boston, we're at Beacon Street, the TEDx Beacon Street event, meant to sort of represent how these ideas, and we act as a beacon out. So your talk seemed like very applicable for this location.
Very local talk, maybe only interesting to people who live in Boston or once lived in Boston or went to college in Boston, but that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, actually.
Yeah.
And I would disagree. I think it's interesting to a lot more than that. In fact, tell me, if you could, well, let's start with you personally. Why was this an idea that you really gravitated towards?
One, because I love history and I love looking at kind of overlooked history. I mean, we all know the history of the Revolution and people know some of the Civil War and abolitionist history of Boston, but people don't talk about the science and technology and entrepreneurship history. So I wanted to dive into some of that. And also Boston can have a little bit of an inferiority complex at times. It's not a giant city in terms of numbers. And so sometimes Boston looks at New York or San Francisco or LA or other cities and says how do we compare to these much bigger cities? So I wanted to kind of make a case that, we have this really special history and identity.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I've seen stuff on the internet where it's like the whole city of Boston can fit inside of Central Park. Or have you seen the one where it's Boston, or like New York City streets, and it's that nice grid?
Or like the Onion
Boston
article
streets.
where the headline is like, Bostonians run around all day playing like they're in a big city or pretending they're in a big city.
Yeah. I've only been here for like 5 or 6 years now, but I still was like very jaded by that.
Yeah. Nobody likes when you get a sharp stick poked in your eye like that.
No, but and you are right. There is a lot of history here, but not much of it is focused on the tech, and the amazing stuff that's going on right now in the Seaport area.
For sure.
So if we can talk a little bit more though about what the TED is about, ideas worth spreading. Why do you think in large, more of like a global scale, why is this an idea worth getting out there?
Boy, that's a really deep question. No one told me TED is about ideas worth spreading.
Oh, okay.
I would have had a totally different talk if I knew that.
No, not true.
I just thought I had an idea worth coming to the Lincoln School in Brookline, worth talking about. But look, I think there are some really big, society faces some really big problems, whether it's like things like climate change or diseases or economic inequality or terrorism. I think Boston's really good at bringing together smart people and often federal research funding or venture capital funding and experienced business people and sort of mixing all those things up and tackling really hard problems. And I feel like that's an idea that Boston needs to think about communicating better and spreading.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks for sitting down with me.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Scott Kirsner, you can check out his talk at TEDxBeaconStreet.com.